You are. You're going to hear all about how perfect you are tonight. Okay, well, we're welcoming you. Let's see who wants to do it. Dave, you want to do it tonight? Come on up.
Oh, that's right.
Just say hello. Say hello to those of us who are they're watching at home.
Not really assumed, but hello, family. The Illusion. Welcome to Darshan this evening. We're all here, and we're glad that you're here virtually. And we hope you gain something out of this evening's service.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave, so much. Thank you for being a part of this family. Welcome.
Stay.
So for a call to worship tonight, we're going to do the Cherokee Morning Song, which we've not done in a while, but many of you will remember it. For those of you who don't know it, it's pretty easy. Just you can follow along, but also if you don't know the words, you can just close your eyes and feel them. Wende aho, wende aho, wende aho. What does this mean? It means that which the Creator has made can never be destroyed. Right? Yeah, okay. No, I mean, I know that that's not true, but I didn't know if that's actually the translation. But it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to stand up and we're going to face the directions. And we're going to start with, we'll start with the north, which is facing this direction. So we're going to be in this direction first, honoring the north. Wende aho, wende aho, wende ah, wende ah, oh, 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 hey oh, hey oh, ya, ya. And so now we face this way, which is east. Wende aho, wende aho, wende ah, wende ah, oh, 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 hey oh, ya, ya. And now facing to our right. This way we're facing south. Wende aho, wende aho, wende ah, wende ah, oh, 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 hey oh, ya, ya. And now facing forward toward the west. Wende aho, wende aho, wende ah, wende ah, oh, 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 hey oh, ya, ya. Thank you. I invite you to take a seat.
Our call to worship reminds us why we are here tonight, to celebrate, explore, and develop an interfaith experience, and to join together in sacred celebration of spirit. We welcome you to the Darshan Center for Spiritual Evolution, where our vision is attuned to a higher awareness of oneness. This house of worship is an interfaith and an interfaith sacred space for all people to heal, grow, learn, and develop a spiritual consciousness that celebrates the manifestation of the divine in all things.
This spiritual community is one of interfaith exploration and embraces all faiths that are affirming and positive, adhering to the highest spiritual goal of be good and do good. The major tenet of this spiritual community is that there is one infinite, all-powerful, all-knowing, ever-present divine source that moves in and around all that is seen and unseen.
We affirm that this divine source is called by many names and is beyond name and form, and recognize that while there are many paths that lead to enlightenment, each person is on their own personal journey towards the awareness and understanding of the divine.
We believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience and that we are spiritually evolving in this very lifetime. We declare that enlightenment is possible in the here and the now, and that this enlightenment can offer us joy everlasting. We know that living in the present moment and recognizing the true I am, which is our divine nature, is where enlightenment lies.
And we hope that you experience Darshan, which is a Sanskrit term for visit with the divine as a result of this sacred celebration that has been designed for you tonight. We are the guardians of the Darshan Center, and we're so pleased to have you here with us in Satsanga, Good Association. We ask you now to join us in song.
Don't take it personally, it's not about you, it's not about me. We're all living day to day and doing the best that we can, doing the best we can. If I don't call back right away or email you tonight, don't get in that mental spin, wondering if everything's alright.
My desk is 6 feet under, and I'm feeling that way too.
I'm going on 3 hours sleep,
And I can't find my left shoe.
so don't take it personally. It's not about you, it's not about me. We're all living day to day and doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can. If I forget to tell you, I think you're heaven here on earth. Don't let my absent-minded ways work on your self-worth.
So think about it clearly and then smile to your mind.
You know I love you dearly,
And everything's just fine.
so don't take it personally. It's not about you, it's not about me. We're all living day to day and doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can. I don't wanna make you suffer. I don't wanna play that game. I can't help but love you. It's okay if you don't feel the same. I won't take it personally. It's not about you, it's not about me. We're all living day to day and doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can.
Let us pray. Mother God, Father God, Great Spirit, we thank you for every day that you wake us up. We thank you for giving us a path that's easy to follow. Some paths are harder and more complicated, but this path we're going to learn tonight is a simple path. It's a path that we can all do. Nobody has an excuse not to do these 4 agreements, God. We thank you for giving them to us, and we thank you for all of the teachers you bring us, and especially we thank you for our dear Reverend Sister Kris, who's going to be speaking to us tonight. Open our hearts, open our minds. Let us hear your words. We say Amen, Amen, Aho, Ashe, and blessed be. So it is. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Our reading is from the Fifth Agreement, A Practical Guide to Self-Mastery by Don Miguel Ruiz. The truth is that all of our knowledge, 100% of it, is nothing more than symbolism or words that we invent for the need to understand and express what we perceive. Every word in our mind and on this page is just a symbol, but every word has the power of our faith because we believe in its meaning without a doubt. Humans construct an entire belief system made of symbols. We build an entire edifice of knowledge. Then we use everything we know, which is nothing but symbology, to justify what we believe, to try to explain first to ourselves, then to everyone else, the way we perceive ourselves, the way we perceive the entire universe. If we are aware of this, then it's easy to understand that all of these different mythologies, religions, and philosophies around the world, all of the different beliefs and ways of thinking are nothing but agreements with ourselves and with other humans. They're our creation, but are they true? Everything that exists is true. The earth is true. The stars are true. The entire universe has always been true. But the symbols that we use to construct what we know are only true because we say so.
I do.
Try to picture the girl through a looking glass. See her as a carving atom. See her eyes and stare back at them. See that girl as her own new world. Though her home is on the surface, she is still a universe. Glory God, oh God is peeking through the blinds. Are we all just standing naked, taking guesses at the actual date and time? Oh my, justifying reasons why is an absolutely insane resolution to live by.
Live high, live mighty, live righteously. Taking it easy, live high, live mighty, live righteously.
Try and picture the man to always have an open hand. See him as a giving tree. See him as matter of fact, he's not a beast. No, not the devil either. Always a good deed doer. And it's laughter that we're making after all. The call of the wild is still in order nationwide. And the order of the primates, all the politics are too late. Oh my, the congregation's in my mind. Is this assembly singing of gratitude, practicing their love for you?
Live high, live mighty, live righteously. Taking it easy, live high, live mighty, live righteously.
We'll sing it out and just take it easy and celebrate the malleable reality. You see, nothing is but a dream. This life is but a dream.
more. Lift me up to the Almighty. Raise your hands and start acknowledging. If you're living righteously, then you're taking an easy way. Just take it easy, live high, live mighty, 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 oh, live righteously. Take it easy, live high, live mighty, oh, live righteously. Just take it easy, high, oh, live mighty, 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 oh, live righteously. Just take it easy, live high, live mighty, oh, live righteously. Just take it easy.
That was awesome. Namaste. Namaste. The divine in me sees the divine in every single one of you. And I'm so happy to be here on this little dark fall night to come together and celebrate spirit together. There's no place else I'd rather be than celebrating spirit here with my spiritual family. And tonight, we're going to be talking about the 4 agreements. Actually, there's 5 now. There's 5 agreements now, and I'm going to talk about them from my understanding through reading Don Miguel Ruiz's book. And Rev G is going to also be sharing from a more scriptural understanding. So we're going to, and then Rev G is going to comment. So I really love this work because it's very simple. And you know, when our beloved Rev Mary was doing the prayer and said, you know, this is something simple, that this is something that we can all do. The 4 agreements are something that we can all do. And notice it's the 4 agreements. So we're talking about agreements, we're talking about decisions and choices that we make in terms of how we want to be in the world, in terms of how we want to behave in the world. And when we want to look at our behavior in the world, we really have to use all of our awareness. So, you know, it's really not, it's not easy to change our behavior, even when we're talking about following something very simple. And we're talking about these 4 agreements, which are very simple agreements. But they're simple agreements, but they're not easy to remember. What's going on?
Nothing, just carry on. As I know you will.
So, is everybody here familiar with the 4 agreements? So there really are in our culture now. The 4 agreements have really gained widespread awareness, but they always bear repeating because it's so easy to forget. And so the first agreement is being impeccable with the Word. And we talk a lot here how in the beginning there was the Word, and that our words really shape our reality. And one of which is really the most important reason to be impeccable with our words, is we speak worlds into existence. What we wind up declaring is what we wind up seeing in our world. And one of the things that I really do believe, along with Don Miguel Ruiz, is that we're creating our experience with our description of our experience. You know, in the reading that Max did, talks about how we interpret the world through symbols, and the symbols that he's referring to as words. And he's talking about words as symbols, and that we ascribe meaning to things, you know, through our languaging and through naming it. And so when we use the word against ourselves, we're really causing injury to ourselves. And when we use the word against somebody else, we're all causing injury to ourselves, because we are one. And because when I look at you, I'm really looking at a reflection of myself. I'm looking at my divine self. And when we use the word, oh, thank you, Mary. When we use the word against ourselves, we're not being impeccable with our word. We're actually insulting the divine, because when we use the word against ourselves, we're using the word against God. We're using the word against all that is, because we are one with the divine. So when we use the word against ourselves, we're also using the word against God. And in the beginning was the word, and a lot of religions believe that the first thing that God created was the messenger, the angel, who delivers the message. And if God created the word to deliver a message, then the word is a messenger, then we're really all here as angels. We really are here with messages. We really are here to share our message with the world and to share our words with the world. And when we want to be impeccable with the world, because we want to create a world with a higher vibration. So being impeccable with our word means not using our word against ourselves. Every time we say, oh, I can't do that, or I'm too stupid, or I'm too old, or I'm too lazy, or I'm too fill in the blank, we are desecrating ourselves and the divine. And we really want to become really conscious and hyper-aware, which is a lot of what I do as a therapist with my clients in therapy, is to help them become aware of how they're talking about their life, how they're talking about the things that impact them. Because how we share our stories and what we tell ourselves is of utmost importance. We want to be impeccable with our word. And being impeccable with our word means being in alignment with Spirit and being in alignment with God.
So from an interfaith perspective, it's really cool, because there's three things that come to my mind. Number one, I don't want this to interfere with Donna and Vern, but thank you. Three things. The first thing that makes me think of is the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. And when we think about that, we used to, as a Catholic school kid, and those of us who were experienced with Catholic upbringing, and also Jewish upbringing for that matter, we always thought it meant like you don't curse God, and that's exactly what you're saying. So when we have a negative thought or a negative word that we say about anything, people, places, or things, we are taking the name of the Lord in vain. That's exactly what you're saying. The second interfaith little perspective is the Buddha. And the Buddha talked about, the Four Noble Truths, and the last noble truth, of course, is the Eightfold Path. And one of the paths is right speech. Sufi gates, actually, so there's four things. Ten Commandments, don't take the Lord thy God's name in vain. Number two is right speech. The third is the Sufi gates. Anybody familiar? So this is the mystical aspect of Islam, is Sufism, and with the Sufi gates, we hear about kind of like a toll booth. Think about a toll booth. And so you have to kind of like make sure that your words pass these three gates before the gate will open. And the first one is what I'm about to say true? And if it is, well, then the gate opens. And then the second gate is what I'm about to say kind. I know, Dave just made a face, and it's true, right? So I speak the truth, but sometimes I'm not kind. And the third is, the third Sufi gate is it necessary? And I always think it's necessary for anything that I'm saying. However, it isn't necessary, right? And then the last little piece here is a Jewish tale. A Hasidic rabbi tells this story, and this is actually in the book called The 10 Challenges by Leonard Felder, which is an excellent book if you ever have a chance. It's the 10 Commandments, but from a mystical interfaith perspective. And so Leonard Felder tells this story. This Hasidic Jewish rabbi says to his young student, he says, talks about gossip. And the young student says, yeah, but is it really harming anybody if I just tell one person? And he says, okay, I want you to do something. Take this pillow, it's a feather pillow. I want you to open it up, and I want you to take all the feathers, and I want you to go all around with it. So he does, and the wind comes and takes all of these feathers. And now, the rabbi says, and now I want you to go pick them all up. Well, he's like, of course I can't because they're in the wind, scattered about. And so that's about right speech again, and being impeccable with our word, not killing anyone's spirit by character assassination, and all the things that we have a tendency to do when we're gossiping. And so that's my interfaith spin.
I like it. I like the idea of once we gossip about somebody that there's like feathers in the wind and can be taken everywhere and it's out of our control. I think that's a really a great parable. Then the next one is don't take anything personally. This is so important, and yet we all do it. It's really hard not to take things personally, and we all do it, but it really is, it's really a key. Because, this is, the truth is that we are all living our, Don Reeves would say we're all living our dream, that this is all a dream world, which is similar to what the Hindus would say about Maya. But we're all the center of our stories. I'm the center of my story, Mary's the center of her story, Max is the center of his story. We are all perceiving everything around us through the lens of our experience, through the lens of who we are. And so, thank you. So we're looking at things through our experiences and our lens. So first of all, anybody else's perception is only that. Our perception is our perception. Somebody else's perception is somebody else's perception, not ours, not ours. So one of the things is we don't want to make assumptions because we're going to be wrong. Because there's everybody's reality is their own subjective reality. We don't want to take things personally. So often, we walk around in the world and we interpret the looks on other people's faces. Now, I'm sorry, Timmy, I got distracted by what you're doing over there with the microphone.
I'm trying to stop the static.
Keep it moving. Okay. Distracting.
Don't take it personal. Exactly.
I am. Every time I start to talk, you get up and fuss with something, and it's my train of thought, I'm taking it personally. But it's true that when we take things, when we take things personally, oh, I know what I was going to say. Sometimes we look at somebody's face and I think, what's wrong? Rev G is always saying to me, what's wrong if I'm not smiling? What's wrong? Making an assumption that if I'm not smiling, something's wrong, and it's not. And that's an example of not making an assumption. Did I jump from taking it personally to not make any assumptions? Well, they kind of go together, right? Because in not taking things personally, we don't want to make any assumptions. We don't want to assume that something's about us. The universe is going to prove to us whatever it is that we believe. So if we believe that we're less than, and we believe that people don't like us, then when we look at people and they're not smiling at us, we're going to assume that they're looking at us and they're not liking us. But that's because that's how we believe. That's because the universe is mirroring to us our belief system. Our belief systems become our tyrants. Our belief systems become what I call Brutus, the voice in our head that's the very negative thoughts. And we become ruled by these belief systems and by these negative belief systems that are absolute lies, that have nothing to do with the reality of who we are. But we believe those lies, and we make assumptions. We make assumptions because we project. We think, oh, I'm not smart enough. So then when we're in a conversation, we're projecting that we're not smart enough, so we're not participating. We're assuming that other people are seeing us the way that we see ourselves. We don't want to make those assumptions. There's a parable in Hinduism, the snake and the rope. And in the parable, the guy who's walking along sees a rope and thinks it's a snake and is in terror because this rope he's mistaken for a snake. He's assuming that what he's looking at is a snake when it's actually a rope. And a lot of times we make assumptions about what we're seeing. So the two things, one is not taking it personally, and also not making assumptions work together. They work together, we don't want to assume, and we also have to challenge our belief systems, because our belief systems are what rule us. And so when we hear something, either from our mouth and other people's mouths too, we actually want to be skeptical. Now that's actually the fifth agreement. So I'm just going to tell you now what the fifth agreement is. Be skeptical. Listen, but be skeptical. And we have to listen to our own thoughts and be skeptical of our own thoughts. And we need to be skeptical about the things that we've believed since we were little kids. A lot of times we make agreements about who we are when we were 5 or 6 years old. Especially if we've had trauma in our lives, we shape our opinions about who the world is from a very young age. And then they might have served us then, but we might decide at 6 years old that the world's not a safe place. We might decide at 6 years old that adults suck and have nothing, nothing to teach us. We make agreements with ourselves when we're quite little, and we need to examine those agreements. The agreements that we make with ourselves and when we're hearing other people. And of course we want to respect everybody, because everybody is a divine light and everybody is deserving of respect. But everybody is also growing up in the same culture that we are and believing the widespread lies of our own culture. So we want to learn how to critically think. We want to learn who says and why. You know, one of the great things that we can teach our kids is the skill of critical thinking, to not believe everything we hear. We don't want to believe our own thoughts. Sometimes our own thoughts are the most damaging thoughts that we can have. We want to question, we want to be skeptics. We want to hold things up to the truth. Is it good? Is it of the light? Is it of God? Is it holy? Or is it petty? You know, I like that Rev G is talking about the 4 agreements. So the 2 that we're just talking about now, and in a moment I'm going to have Rev G talk about it from a more scriptural place. But the 2 that we're talking about now are not to make assumptions and not to take things personally. And it really requires a keen eye saying, who says this? Actually, Don Miguel has these in his first book, when he's talking about the 4 agreements, and he's talking about the judge in our heads, and he's talking about the judge that I'm talking about now, and he says the 4 things, he has 4 suggestions about how to address them. Now I use these, this is when somebody else is saying something judgy to you, or when you're saying something judgy to yourself. And let's see if I can remember them all. One of them is, so what? So what? So when somebody says to you, how come you're doing it that way? I'll say, so what? Or the other one that's really good is, big deal. So if somebody's really judging, you can turn around and say, big deal. Or, if the thought in your head is, my pants are really tight today, and then you can answer that voice in your head, big deal. So what? So it's big deal, so what? And who cares? Who cares is another one. Someone's telling you, your pants are too tight or whatever. Say, who cares? And then the last one for the judge, which is kind of my favorite, is what's it to ya? When somebody asks me why I'm doing something in a particular way, I like to say, what's it to ya?
So I like that you put these all together, because, it's the don't take it personal, it's don't make assumptions, and then the last one is be skeptical, right? Be skeptical. Be skeptical about what you're hearing if it's judgy, right? Is that what you're saying? And it's also limiting belief, right? So this reminds me of the mystical aspect of Hinduism, right? Because there's these 2 very, very important steps that they say open up the gate to liberation. And the first is Vairagya, I'm sorry, Vivek, which is discriminating between what is real and what is unreal, which is not easy to do, right? So, like when you're saying, oh, this doesn't really matter in the scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. Why? Because it's only matter. It's only matter. And we are the soul essence. We are made up of the light. We are made up of this energy of the light and love. And so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You know, there's so many things that I worry about, so much. You know, like it's a disorder. I might see like a piece of lint on the floor. I did this before with Max, right? When we were practicing. You know, I zero right in on that lint on the floor. When you think about it, it's like, is this real? Does this really matter? No, it's only matter. It doesn't really matter. And I know that probably hoarders and people who don't really clean their house will probably be like, swing, it doesn't really matter. No, of course we have to do the things we have to do in this embodiment, right? But at the end of the day, at the end of our lives, our spirit will live on. How many of you believe that? Yeah, I do too. So if that's the case, then everything that's happening in this embodiment doesn't really matter that much. Don't stress yourself out about it. I think that's what they mean when they say don't sweat the small stuff. The second part of the stage to the gates of liberation is Vairagya. And Vairagya is detachment. So to detach. Once I know what's real and what's not real, in other words, God's grace and mercy, that's all that's real. If I focus on that, then it doesn't really matter what else is unfolding, right? And I can detach easily from it. The Buddha said that too in the second noble truth. And so I'll leave you with the last piece, which is not really interfaith scripture, is just more about, I was taught at a very young age not to get so stressed out. I mean, something must have been disconnected for me, because even though I was taught that, I still worry. But anyway, I was told that everything doesn't seem as it appears, that everything is not actually what it seems to be, and that God sees us like a tapestry, a beautiful tapestry, and what we see when we look up is all the threads. And so when we look up, we go, I don't know what's happening, this is a mess. Are you really there? Are you really, does you say, you know, you're supposed to be like helping us, and it looks like it's a lot of chaos. And it doesn't really look like any art. And God is looking up, going, peeking through the blinds, like the song. God is peeking through the blinds, going, hey, I made a beautiful tapestry. You just don't see it from my perspective. And so don't make assumptions, don't take it personal, and then be skeptical about all of the negative stuff that you're hearing, I think is in line with what God wants for us.
Yeah.
Last one.
Absolutely.
Go.
And then the last one is do your best. And you know, doing our best, really, if we're doing our best, that's all we can do. If we're doing our best, we're bringing our full self to whatever it is. Actually, it's one of the things I really admire about Reb G. She always brings her A game to every single thing she does. She does her absolute best at. And you know, the thing about our best is our best changes, right? Our best when we're really tired and overwhelmed is going to be different from our best on a really good day. Our best when we're not really happy about what we're doing is going to be different from our best when we're doing something that we're really thrilled about doing. But when we do our best at whatever it is, then all the other agreements are easier to do as well. So the agreements of being impeccable with your word, which is really about honesty and truth, and being able to express yourself from an authentic place, not taking things personally, not making assumptions, doing our best, and being skeptical. And the things that I do also really like about is that we're talking about a clear, you know, here are five things to do that will change your life if you decide to do them, and that they're very simple. And we make agreements with ourselves all the time. And when we're going to change our behavior, we're making an agreement. We're recognizing that we have a choice. We're recognizing that we are creating our lives with integrity and consciously. And that's the most important piece of this, is making the agreement that we're going to honor ourselves by practicing them. Because that's the only way that we're gonna get to where we want to go, is by that practice.
So I don't do the first three really well. I don't. I have a hard time with it. I have to always remind myself about being impeccable with my word, not because of the truth part, but because of the kind and necessary part. The second thing that I do make assumptions a lot, and I take everything personal sometimes, and I suffer because of it, right? But the thing I always would say that I do really well is I do my best. I do my best. But if you go a little deeper in the meaning of this, there's a little bit of a problem with my attitude around do your best. Because there's a little bit of arrogance in there, right? There's no humility in that. Jesus said, in the Beatitudes, blessed are the poor in spirit, for they are going to find the kingdom of heaven, right? Blessed are the poor in spirit. What does that mean? It means to be humble and to recognize that I can only do my best with God's grace. I can't do it by myself. That's my own willpower, not higher power. And finally and lastly, I don't have to be a perfectionist. I don't have to be perfect at everything. I can do my best, and sometimes my best isn't perfect. But with God's grace, it can propel me into perfection, but only with God.
Mary, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I definitely do. My grandmother was a big one for always do your best. And she never graduated high school, and she didn't have a whole lot of education, but for me, doing your best encompasses all of the other ones. If I'm doing my best, I'm not going to make assumptions. I'm going to try to look at it from somebody else's point of view, but I'm not going to assume what do they mean by that. If I have a question, I'm going to ask. If I'm doing my best, I'm going to be being impeccable with my word. I'm going to walk my talk. I'm going to talk my walk. Because one without the other doesn't mean anything. People all the time, you can say whatever you want to say, but, I was taught from very, very young, look at people's actions. We teach little kids to lie really, really early. Mommy comes down and the dress is too tight. And she says, how does this look? And Daddy says, the little boy starts to say, oh no, Mom. And Dad goes, oh no, you look fabulous. We teach little kids to lie. We teach them white lies. And I don't necessarily think we should do that, because if we're doing our best, we're going to tell the truth. And then not taking stuff personal. Again, if we're doing our best, we're going to rely on our connection with the divine. And I love what you said about, we have to rely on our faith in God. There's a lot of times that doing my best, because I am in this human form, is not so darn great. It really isn't. I tell my clients all the time, there is a God, it's not you, it ain't me either, but I'm only talking about the physical body. We will make mistakes. But when we can rely on the one, the connection with the divine, we can get that inspiration, we can get that information that we need so that we can continue to do our best. The other thing that I just want to share really, really quick is, what you said, Sister Kris, about our best changes, right? The other thing I teach my clients all the time is judge yourself on who you are today based on the decisions you make today. The past is gone, we cannot go back and change those. So why hold on to it? All it's going to do is make us sick, and we don't need to be sick. We can't live tomorrow, so all we can judge is what we do today. And hopefully every day we're 1% better. 1% better than we are today, and we keep moving forward. So that's what hit me with all of this, so thank you.
I have such a special place in my heart for this book. I read it at a very pivotal point in my life. It was like my first week in rehab, and it was actually one of the books that they gave us. And I remember thinking, in the book he talks about the domestication of people. And I love that he talks about this dream, but it's this dream of somebody else. That it's this life that we're told is supposed to be lived in a certain way, but that is the illusion. And that's what these 4 agreements free us from. And it's really kind of about self-discovery, but being your true, authentic self. Like, I've always prided myself on being somewhat of a weirdo, but this book taught me that that is who I'm supposed to be. That, you know, being your most authentic individual self is okay. And that was such a surprising thing for me to learn, especially at such a point where I was so low. You know, all I did was not speak impeccably. All I did was judge myself. Everyone else was fine, but everything I took so personal. And to do my best, I didn't have enough self-esteem to do my best. This eye-opening book that told you that, listen, you are okay. That you are good right where you're at. It's everyone else that's messed up. And I was just like, I can get on board with that. I dig that. And it helped me. When I became impeccable with my word, I started talking good about myself. Something good started coming towards me. I stopped making assumptions because I realized how it didn't matter what other people were saying. And it really wasn't even true. And it was much easier to do my best when you have that little spark inside of you. I think that's the magic that you get from living these 4 agreements. You get the spark to change yourself. And when you do that, it's like everyone else around us is on the same wave. Like this group, absolutely, raise your hand. Who's all knows the 4 agreements, right? It's because we're on the same wave. We're together. I don't know, this book is just, I give it out to as many people as I can. I've gone through like 5 copies, and I will continue to do so because I'm so grateful that for Don Miguel Luis and the Toltec teachings. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this too.
So we want to give you the opportunity to come up and draw a card and to read what it says. And this is from the 5th agreement. It's from the Toltec knowledge. And so they're great messages. I've never seen this deck before tonight, but it's really, really beautiful. So whoever wants to come up and draw a card, we invite you to do so.
Are we putting the plug back?
Yeah.
Are they gonna take it?
Put it back, yeah. But somebody else might need that card.
Gotcha. I'll go first. Lies blind our faith and lead us nowhere. When lies blind our faith, we fall into the illusion that we are separate from God and we lose our power of creation. Real faith is having faith in life, faith in ourselves, faith for no reason. From this point of power, we create whatever we want to create.
Come on.
Believing in the truth leads to goodness, love, and happiness. Believing in lies creates injustice, fear, and suffering, not only in the individual, but also in society.
I choose to write my story with love. Love is the material that comes directly from my integrity, from what I really am. In my story, what is real is my love.
Nice. That is beautiful.
mind is fertile ground for concepts, ideas, and opinions. If we believe a lie, that lie takes root in our mind and can grow big and strong like a tree. Our little lie can be very contagious, spreading seeds from person to person when we share it with others.
Believing in lies create injustice. I can't even see this. Fear. There's no slash on the F. And suffering, not only in the individual, but also in society. Believing in the truth leads to goodness, love, and happiness.
Our true nature is to play and explore, to live in the moment, to enjoy life. As little children, we're completely authentic. Our actions are guided by our instinct and our emotions. We listen to the solid waters of our integrity. Nobody teaches us how to be that way. We're born that way.
Mix them up for a minute.
There is nothing wrong with whatever I feel. There are no good or bad emotions. Even if I feel anger or hate, there is always a reason for feeling it. Every emotion comes directly from the integrity of my spirit. I acknowledge and accept my feelings.
Only the truth can set us free from the fear, drama, and conflict in our lives. When we release our faith from lies, we recover free will and make our own choices. And when we recover the power to believe whatever we want to believe, all we want is to love. Believing in the truth leads to goodness, love, and happiness. Believing in lies creates injustice, fear, and suffering, not only in the individual, but also in society.
Guess God really wants us to hear that one.
I acknowledge and accept my feelings. There is nothing wrong with whatever I feel.
Yeah, it's okay. God knows your advice.
There are no good or bad emotions. Even if I feel anger or hate, there's always a reason for feeling it. Every connection, every emotion comes directly from the integrity of my spirit.
As little children, we are completely, I can't see that word, authentic. Our actions are guided, our actions are guided by our, I can't see that one either. Sorry, I need my readers. I can't see.
see if I can read this. It's the light over here too is not so great.
As little children, we're completely authentic. Our actions are guided by our instinct and emotions. We listen to the silent voice of our integrity. No one teaches us to be that way. We are born that way. Our true nature is to play and explore, to live in the moment, to enjoy life.
I am a secondary character in other people's stories. I know that whatever people say about me is a projection of their image of me. It has nothing to do with me. I didn't take anything, I don't take anything personally.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The whys in our head doesn't belong to us. We aren't born with that voice. Thinking comes after we learn first a language, then all of the judgments and lies. The voice of knowledge comes as we accumulate knowledge. Heaven belongs to us because we are the children of heaven.
I am what I am. I accept myself as I am. I don't need to please other people by pretending to be what I am not. I can never be what I am not. I can only be me, and that's it.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Spiritual community, we love that we get to be here every single week, that we get to have this amazing space to come together in satsanga, to exchange ideas, and we are so grateful because we get to do this every single week. You guys help us keep the lights on, you guys help the rent get paid, and your generous donations are so appreciated because we get to do it because of you. I'm gonna come around with the basket. Whatever you are reaching for is exactly what it is meant to be. If you don't have anything on you, I'm gonna ask you to please just put your hands over the basket and send us your love and energy because we could really use that too. There are many ways to donate. We of course take cash. You can also donate PayPal, Darshan/ME. We can also on Venmo, which
Darshan
is
Center 840.
and
Cash App, same thing, Darshan Center 840.
Thank you.
You can just pass it to
Sure.
Reverend Max. Because we have something we have to do over here.
Yes, we do.
So let's do it.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for you to get your...
I'm ready.
Okay,
We're
ready?
good.
I hope it goes. Nope. Okay, no, it went off. That's what happened.
Turn it on?
Yeah. it went
Everyone
off.
finished? Nope.
Now the time.
Okay. Ready? Ready? No, no. No, no.
You find us serving. As for me in my house, you will find us serving truth. As for me in my house, you will find us serving truth. As for me in my house, you will find us serving truth. Truth for all right now. As for me in my house, you will find us serving peace. As for me in my you will find us serving peace. As for me, in my house, you will find us serving peace. Peace for all right now. As for me, in my house, you'll find us serving love. As for me, in my house, you'll find us serving love. As for me, in my house, you'll find us serving love. Love for all right now. Let there be peace for all right now. Let's speak the truth to all right now.
So I have some great announcements. Okay, so many things that are so exciting that are happening. Number one, mark your calendar, December 18th. It's a Saturday at 1 o'clock? At 1 o'clock, Easterland Park, under the pavilion. How many of you came for the family picnic? All right, well, we're going to do it again. This time we're going to do it Christmas style. Christmas and holiday style. And we're going to be bringing a dish, which Sister Kris was going to have a sign-in sheet, a sign-up sheet that she had promised that she would do. No, I'm just saying she promised she'd do it. And someday we'll see it. That's all. I don't know, maybe not tonight, or maybe we will. Okay, so here's the sign-in sheet, what we're looking for. We're looking for an entree of some sort or a salad. It doesn't have to be enough for 18, 20 people, just whatever you can bring. It's a covered dish kind of thing. Snacks, dessert, non-alcoholic beverages. And we're going to have a holiday concert, and several of us are going to be singing, right, different songs and whatnot. We're also going to have a giveaway table. So I'm going to start going through all of the stuff in our house and bringing it all here. No, I'm just kidding. But we want you to get stuff that's that you have that's good, but you don't have any more need for it. And we're going to have tables that are set aside, and Dr. Donna had suggested that we all have our own table, or we can have one generic table, whatever works out. We have to just play that one by ear. But what we did last time when we had the holiday concert is we did a giveaway table, and a lot of people got some presents out of that for Christmas, for Hanukkah, for Kwanzaa, etc. Like I did. I got a whole set of little pewter saints, which was really, really cool. And I loved it. It was actually my favorite present of all time. So giveaway table. Oh, and then we want you to bring something, and there's no value to it, whatever. We're not putting a limit on it or a maximum or a minimum, but to buy something for someone and wrap it, and then we'll have a little bit of an exchange, which would be really cool, right? And then we're gonna have the holiday concert. Did I leave anything out? Okay, so that's important. Night of Enchantment, December 31st, New Year's Eve. Get your tickets, because we are going to be limited. We're not going to be able to do it the way we used to do it, which was with the rug and all of the backjacks. We're not going to be able to do that because of COVID. But we are still going to do it, and we haven't done it in a few years, right? So it's time for us. Actually, we haven't done it in a year. So we're going to do it again, and we're so excited. It's a beautiful way for us to come together as a family and bring in the new year, to release those things that don't serve us into the new year, for gratitude for what we've been given in this year, and then setting intentions for the next year. And we're going to have a burning bowl as well, a releasing ceremony. A little kirtan and a little refreshment. We lowered the price because we're not going to go all out with all of the food like we did in the past. We're not. We're just going to do some sweets and some Pellegrino and Martinelli's, and that's it. So it's $25. Get your tickets early. Last thing, Reverend Max. Oh, and then I have something, but Reverend Max has something about very important.
Yes, this Saturday is Trans Remembrance Day. And I was asked by a friend of mine to be a part of it, and I just wanted to extend the invitation to all you guys. They're going to be starting at 6 o'clock at the Pride Center. There's going to be a candlelit visual walk onto Wilton Drive, and there will be speakers. There will be, I think, some ritual involved too. But if you have any questions, just come and see me after the service. I'll be happy to fill you guys in.
All right, this is a big drum roll, and Reverend Max is going to be the one to do the closing prayer, so we really want to make sure we get there and support him for that. But check this out. Ready, drum roll? Can I have a drum roll? Okay. So this is a very big announcement. How many of you know Honey? How many of you know Honey? All right, those of you who don't know Honey, get to know Honey. She's somebody that you really want to get to know. Here's the thing about Honey, and this is a huge announcement, okay? You know that the parish of St. Benedict, the Casina Catholic Parish of St. Benedict meets here on Saturday nights, right? They do. So if you ever want a kind of a different kind of a mass than you might be used to, not really, it's very similar. It's the same thing, it's just Casina, right? It's independent Catholic. The Casina stands for the Catholic Apostolic Church in North America. And so they're not following the Roman rite, right? However, you gotta come. If you're interested in seeing what this is like, come on a Saturday night at 6:30. But here's the really important thing. You know, Bishop Michael is the pastor of St. Benedict, and somebody's gonna be ordained a deacon and a priest. Guess. Honey. Honey is going to become ordained in the Sacred Order of Priesthood in Christ's one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, the Church of Casina, Catholic Apostolic Church in North America. It's going to be at Unity Pompano. It's going to be on December 5th at 1 o'clock. It's good. If you've never been to a sacred ordination to priesthood, it's something to really not miss. So every single one of our Darshan members and our Darshan family is invited to this to support Honey, because Honey is a Darshan member. Her and Michael are big benefactors here, and they're big supporters. So we want to definitely come out and support her. I'll keep announcing it every week, December 5th, 1 o'clock, Unity Pompano. I'm sorry, we got that. That's a Sunday. Fellowship is going to happen outside. Who's got the prayer? Who's got the closing prayer?
You do.
I do? I'm going to give it to Reverend Max to do. He does a beautiful prayer.
Pressure on. Mother, Father God, Great Spirit, we thank you for this delicious spiritual knowledge that we have obtained tonight. Thank you for feeding us. Because I don't know about you, but I've been hungry all week. I'm so grateful that we have a place to come to every week. We thank you for this amazing spiritual family. We thank you for keeping us safe and protected throughout the week. Keep us in your heart and keep us in your mind, and keep our words impeccable. Keep us from making assumptions. Help us to always do our best. I'm missing one. And help us not to take anything personally. Until we meet together again, keep us safe, and together we pray, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Aho. Ashe. Blessed be, and so it is. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Love is the way, love is the light. We light up today, and today is alright. Love is the way, love will take us higher. We are aligned, and we are united. We are united by our differences, our different kind of interests, our different intelligence, artificial and natural mystic. Each one a chrysalis of perfect imperfections. Yeah, we are limitless, 'cause spirit lives inside us. Mother Nature did us a favor, gave each one of us a different flavor, different visions, different faces, different incarnations of crazy. Some want to make some noise, some want to hear the silence, some want to drive the bus from town to town and give high fives out to teachers and bakers and movie ticket takers, to midwives and doctors and magic baby makers. 'Cause if love is what you're
you're working on, and peace is what you're dreaming. If you're fighting for freedom, you are my people. You're my kind.
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 Humankind. You're my kind.
My kind.
You're my kind.
You're my kind.
You're my kind.
My kind.
Humankind.
I don't believe in fighting, cause we ain't got that much time. Tomorrow's ground is a foundation laid down by decisions that we make today. I don't believe in war, no. I've been taught to love my neighbor. Been all around and all I've found is that we're all the same. Yeah, the chief of police and the deal is the same. Neither the strongest can survive, only he who can change. The secret to peace is to quiet the brain, letting go with I touch everything. If love is what you're searching for, peace is what you're dreaming. If you're combating evil, you are
my kind.
My kind.
My kind.
You're my kind.
My kind.
Humankind. You're my kind.
My kind.
You're my kind.
My kind.
You're my kind.
My kind. Humankind. Yes, we are.
Oh, oh, oh,
oh, humankind.
oh, oh, oh,
we share the same room.
Your moon is my moon.
We all wane and wax.
We all want to take a nap in the afternoon.
Some wanna be small spoon.
Some wanna be big spoon.
I like to rotate positions and flip it over for a different view.
Some like it reggae.
Some like it smooth jazz.
Some like to slow things down.
Some like to shake that ass.
So many different expressions to take pleasure in. You are uniquely you, just like
everyone else.
Love is the way, love is the light. We light up today, and today is alright. Love is what we're working for, peace is what we're dreaming. We are all equal, you are my people.
You're my kind.
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 My kind.
Humankind.
You're my kind. My kind.
You're my kind.
My kind.
You're my kind.
My kind.
Humankind. Oh, 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 humankind. Oh, 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 humankind. Oh, 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 humankind. Oh, 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 oh,
Oh, that's Jason Mraz.
We actually thank you everyone for joining us. We love you all and we'll see you soon. And if you are in town for December 18th or for December 31st, Night of Enchantment, make sure you get your tickets. And if you're